Hello there, and welcome to the OKC Edge Halloween special. I'm your host, Popcorn. As you know, I'm a clown, and I love to clown around. With that being said, within the media there's been a lot of misunderstandings and bad things said about clowns. I, for one, don't agree. Although I don't condone the ones that are known as bad, I don't condone their behavior. For instance, I don't encourage scaring old women, hurting people, attacking people. No. But wearing the makeup, having fun, just playing games, being creative, that's what I enjoy, and that's what I encourage. And in fact, that's what this episode is about. It's even titled, Clowns and Creativity. So stay tuned and enjoy this Halloween special.
Greetings, friends, fiends. I have a tale for you on this time of disguises and imaginations. This one is The Long Hall. 4 unwashed, filth-caked forms, some huddled in blankets, others in wet scraps of fabric they had freed from the wreck of the room, looked at Mathis. He had paused in the doorway. He was stalling, and everyone knew it. The truth was, no matter what stoic mask he plastered onto his face, he could not elude his fear. He turned away before his ailing nerves betrayed him, stepped through the door, and closed it behind him. The hallway stretched ahead. Far to the opposite end, he saw the other door, the exit. He took a careful step, and then another. He began the walk from one end of the hallway, from sanctuary, toward the distant other end, where anything might happen. The only lighting in the hall stammered from poor fixtures ahead, dim and flickering. The carpet beneath Mathis's tattered shoes was stained an ugly, splotchy maroon. In several areas along the hall, portions of carpet were burned away, and only black circles remained. Cigarette butts and snack wrappers littered the floor in front of him. He stepped around the wrappers because they would make noise, and noise was the last thing in the world he needed right now. On the walls hung pictures, many an abstract mess of grays and blacks. One of the pictures had fallen, and lay on the floor against the left wall. Mathis stepped past it and over a dirty diaper to proceed. Ahead, the right side of the hall opened into another area which was even darker than the main hallway. It featured no lighting at all, and only a single stairway which led up to a place that no sane person wanted to think about in detail. Least of all, Mathis. He crept past this area, but against his better judgment, allowed a glance back toward the stairs. Dread found his heart and squeezed it. Breathing became difficult. He had to stop. He leaned against one wall to recuperate, taking slow, easy breaths to quell the sense of panic that clenched him. He resisted an urge to look again in the direction of that stairway. Instead, Mathis looked toward the door from which he had come, where all those other refugees hid. He had come so far, he realized. Now was not the time to hesitate. Not here. Not now. He righted himself and started walking again. His steps treaded the ugly carpet with cautious silence. The battered old oak door neared his reach. He took the last few steps and grasped the door's cold brass knob. At the sudden chill, Mathis shuddered, but he forced himself to open it. The door cracked open, and the unoiled hinge squealed. A dark blur swept down the stairs and up the long hall. Mathis screamed in terror. An immense blur of motion was upon him. The hallway lights flickered out. Almost a minute later, the lights, ever faint, came back on in the hallway, but continued to blink uneasily. The hallway was empty. In front of its exit, freshly burned through the carpet, was a smoking black circle. Back in the room Mathis had left behind, the remaining refugees looked at one another, expressions torn. There were no words. Mathis was gone. And still the food supply dwindled. Even knowing this to be so, as they passed around an old can of peas, quiet hope sustained them still. They remained 4 in number, and soon they would have to choose another to walk the long hall. Perhaps the next one, whichever one of them it might be, would make it. Somewhere above, up a stairway in the upper reaches, a searing heat pulsed in the darkness and lingered in anticipation. Beyond the oak door at the end of the long hall, outside the ice-covered shambles of the building, an eternal winter reigned in a barren, albescent land pocketed with uncounted circular scars. And that, my people, is the end of our story. I bid you all a glorious season of shadows. Until the next.
I sure did enjoy this time of year. And one thing I always enjoyed was watching monster movies growing up. In fact, I still watch them today with my children. And they love them. One of my favorite and most iconic characters was the Wolfman. And I actually had the honor this year of meeting his grandson, Mr. Ron Chaney. The Wolfman was originally played by Ron Chaney Jr. So as you can tell, they probably had a lot of fun during this time of year. In fact, I actually asked him about how they celebrated Halloween, and this was his reply. Enjoy.
Growing up, Halloween was always a very special time in our life. My grandfather is well known as the Wolfman. My great-grandfather is the Phantom, so Halloween is probably our favorite holiday, I'd have to say. Both my grandfather and myself, we get a big kick out of scaring people. I guess it runs in the family, and we always look forward to that time of year every year.
Since it's Halloween time, Will has asked me to read one of my horror short stories, Extinguished Flame. The flame of the candle flickered. The slight motion captured Miriam's attention. Raising her eyes from the ink-blotted paper, she peered over the rim of her glasses. Strands of her auburn hair had fallen loose. A melancholy sigh escaped her lips as she watched the flame dance. Then darkness fell. The flame had been extinguished by a draught of air. The room remained illuminated by the moonlight streaming through a closed window. Her aunt's house had always been drafty. Miriam recalled her childhood visits to the manor. Endless drafty rooms of neglected and forlorn furniture. Another waft of cool air brushed against her neck, sending chills down her spine. She shivered. Since her aunt's death, the manor seemed gloomier. An eerie presence lingered within the very fibers of the house. Miriam placed her pen back into its ornate holder. Sliding open a drawer, she proceeded to look for a box of matches to relight the candle. No such luck. There was not a match in sight. Annoyed, she slammed the drawer shut. Miriam considered walking to her room for the box in her nightstand. She was hesitant to wander the halls in such a dim light. She knew there was no other choice. Her solicitor needed the ledger in the morning. Her aunt's financials had been in such a disarray, it would take the remainder of the night to finish sorting through it all. Rising from the desk, an odd clicking caught her attention. Holding her breath as she listened carefully. The clicking rattle of an object rolling across the floor grew louder. Peering over the top of the desk, she could not find the source. Slowly, she walked around the desk, surveying the floor for anything that could have made the sound. There was nothing. No sign of anything other than a rug in the center of the room. The sound had stopped as well. The door creaked, opening slightly. Her eyes focused on the hallway. There was only darkness. The moonlit light was too bright for the hallway to be so dark. She saw something move from within the doorframe. The movement was followed by the clicking rattle. Slowly, a pen rolled across the floor, pausing at just the tip of her shoes. Her heart raced and her eyes widened as she stared down at the pen. Quickly looking back toward the desk, at the holder to confirm her assumption, the pen was not there. It lay at her feet. She felt dizzy with questions. Goose flesh prickled her skin as she looked down at the pen before her. It had rolled toward her from the hallway. Slowly, she walked toward the door. Hello? Is anyone there? This is not amusing at all, she called out. She would be furious if the servants were playing childish pranks. She reached a hand out, grasping the door handle, pulling it open slightly. She peered into the hallway. Something grasped her dress, pulling her into the blackened hall. The door slammed shut behind her. Her screams echoed throughout the house, then faded into the night. Silence fell in the house.
Club zombie. Yeah, they have a valet for the hearse.
Wonder where he keeps his hearse.
He keeps his ladies in the hearse. Blast this laughter! Is there no respect for the dead anymore? Oh, hello, Fright fans. I hope it wasn't you laughing at any of the dead. That's something you should be very, very wary of doing, for you too may meet the Reaper. I happen to have a scary tale. I'm totally unprepared for you all to be here at all, but I have a tale, as is the hearse song. Don't you ever laugh as the hearse goes by, for you may be the next to die. They wrap you in a big white sheet, up to your head and down to your feet. Then they throw you in a big black box and cover it with earth and rocks. Then all goes well for about a week, but then the coffin begins to weep. The worms crawl in, the worms crawl out. They play Pokemon Go upon your snout, and a big green worm with rolling eyes crawls in your stomach and out your sides. Then your stomach turns a slimy green, and pus pours out like whipping cream. You spread it on a slice of bread, and that's what you'll eat when you are dead. Blast! This is infernally terrible. I thought this was the fake pus from the costume department.
That's what they gave us.
Where did you get this? From the dairy farm? What? Wait a minute. Get out of here! To hell with your Halloween!
Hello there, and welcome back. You know, I love this time of year so much that I feel like singing a song. a song that I was taught by my high school teacher, Miss LaValle. So out there in the cyber world, hopefully she's watching this. I think she'll probably get a laugh out of it. So this song's dedicated to Miss LaValle. I've got 1-quart jar of dreamy, grimy gopher guts, concentrated bird feet, mutilated monkey's meat, and 1-quart jar of all-purpose porpoise pus, and me without a spoon. Now for our next segment. If you didn't like my singing, you'll definitely enjoy these guys. It's an interview and a debut of their music video. The band's name is Splatter. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Worm and Rich here from the band Splatter. We were asked by Will Harrison from the OKC Edge to film this today. We were just going to answer some questions that people might want to know about the band. So the first question was, why do we wear masks on stage? Why do we wear masks on stage?
Why wear pants?
We could just nix the pants.
Yeah, let's get rid of the pants, and then people will be asking us why we don't wear pants.
Actually, he likes to find masks. He didn't buy this like this. He put this together. He painted it and altered it and everything. So that's kind of a cool little side note. So you can't go and buy a Worm mask. Worm makes his own masks.
One of a kind.
The second question was, what is your creative process?
I don't have one.
You don't have one?
It starts in the bathroom.
Actually, a lot of times he does claim that he gets his best ideas while taking a
We're not supposed to cuss in this. Creative process is simple. It's an electronic band, so what happens is most of the times, I get my ideas from, my musical ideas from a lyric that will pop into my head. So life experiences, stuff I see on a daily basis, all that kind of stuff. Anything that inspires someone to write lyrics. So there'll be a lyric idea in my head first, and then I start building melodies around that. It's electronic, so it's all beat by beat, sound by sound. We don't use any pre-made beats, or we don't buy pre-made beats from people. We don't do that. We don't copy and paste. We're not a copy and paste band. I write it, I record it, I teach it to people to play live, like her, and
well, half the time you don't really teach me. I just kind of figured it out.
You gotta teach yourself, because, I'm not gonna do everybody's work for them.
Yeah.
So, and then we take it and we play live.
Tell us a little bit about the album that you're working on right now.
I'm not working on an album right now. I'm working on a masterpiece. It's called The Wastelands, and it's about 5 songs in right now to the album process. That's not including everything I've written and scrapped, because that's happened a few times too. So
that's been a lot.
Yeah, I throw most of the songs away, and it's pretty straightforward. It's the darkest album I've ever done. It's about dead stuff. And, when I'm done with it, I'll teach it to her, and then we'll go and play live. Or she'll figure it out for herself.
Probably. But, it's not just about death. It's about death in many forms, and the many forms that death takes. So,
Yeah, it's about dead stuff.
In closing, Will had asked us to share a creepy story, or, Halloween's right around the corner. What's the creepiest experience that you've ever had? What's the scariest or weirdest thing that's ever happened to you? Have you ever had a paranormal experience?
I lived in a haunted house when I was a little kid, and a lot of things happened in the house, but I think the weirdest thing that happened in the house when I was little was my little brother. At nighttime, he would wake up. He kept telling my parents that he was seeing a shadow man walk down the hallway, and a shadow man with a big hat is what he said. And my parents didn't think too much about it. They would send him back to bed. My dad at the time was working the night shift, so whenever he would come home from work, he would get whatever was for dinner, reheat it, watching TV, right? One night, it was not too long after my brother had complained about the shadow man. My dad was sitting there eating whatever he was eating, and said he felt like somebody was watching him. Turns around, He sees a shadow walking down the hallway in a wide brimmed hat, right? It walked into the light of the bathroom, the shadow didn't go away, and it turned around, entered the bathroom, and disappeared. I don't know, maybe he had to take a crap. Lots of stuff happened in that haunted house, but I'm not going to tell the whole giant story because you already don't care. You've already turned this video off. Facebook.com/PitterSplatterOfficial. That's where you can talk to us. If you want to buy music, PitterSplatterOfficial.bandcamp.com. I'll put a big graphic right here so you can see what I'm talking about. My third son was named Peter Splatter.
Hello there. We thank you so much for tuning in tonight to watch this Halloween special. We worked really hard to make sure it was suitable for all viewers. So with that being said, definitely have your children, have your friends and family, all of them enjoy it with you. And until next time, we thank you so much for supporting and watching the OKC Edge and supporting this Halloween special. Thank you and happy Halloween. Good night.